welcome back to my channel. Happy Thursday. Today we are here to work on our February Mini Dazzle. This is a new series on my channel this year where at the end of the month we complete the monthly Mini Dazzle and we talk about the books that I read throughout the month. So if you're not interested in books or hearing about me talk about books, I totally understand. I will be back tomorrow with a post review for you guys, so hopefully you will check that out. But if you do want to hear about the books that I read, maybe you're looking for some book recommendations, that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. I, of course, will be diamond painting. I only incorporate like book content in a couple videos out of the month, but rest assured, even in those videos where I'll be talking about books, I will still be diamond painting. So let's go ahead and get started. This is only my second ever Mini Dazzle. This is the one for February. Obviously, we're still in winter, so it is a wintry scene. I do kind of wish that they had went with like a Valentine's Day theme for February. This is quite close to January and March's, so this is when we did at the end of January. So I do kind of wish they went a little bit more like holiday themed, but I know that they also do holiday specific packs, so I would assume that's probably why they chose more of like the seasonal image. So for my tools today, I will be using the diamondart pen. This is the newer version that has the, oh, I must have twisted up too much when I closed this last time. This is the newer version that has the clear wax preloaded, and then I do also have some of the clear wax in my 4-placer. These kits are square and they are made up entirely of fairy dust drills, which is very exciting. I find that these don't take me as long as the calendar page because we can obviously do some actual multi-placing, which is very nice. So let's go ahead and get started. I am also using the Diamond Art Club tray. I think I forgot to mention that. Oh boy, I might need to grab... Do I actually have putty in here? I thought I did. Okay, interesting, interesting. I do have some readily available. I might actually switch out for the 7-placer that's sitting here. 7-placer is my like safe space. I love using the thin 7-placer. That's definitely my favorite multi-placing option, and pretty much what I always have in the other side of my pen. All right, let's do this. So in the month of February, okay, let me preface this by saying I am currently in the middle of 2 books. I'm filming this on Wednesday the 26th for it to go up on Friday. Now, could I have waited and posted this at the start of next week? Yes, but I really want to make sure that I'm finishing the Mini Dazzles like within the month that they're actually meant to be done. So I am in the middle of 2 books. I'm in the middle of a Kindle book and an audiobook. The audiobook I will probably finish tomorrow, which for me is Thursday, the day that you guys are seeing this. And then the Kindle book, I'm really enjoying it. I don't know that I'll have enough time to like sit down and read between today and tomorrow, but I will definitely finish it before the end of the month. So I'm counting them as having finished them. I counted them in like my pages read category, which I will give you those stats in a second. So yeah, I will talk about them a little bit as I get towards the end of my list, but I am still actively reading for February, but I don't think I'll read anything more than the 2 that I have going right now. So I will also have the images of the titles to the right of the screen. Like I mentioned in my calendar video, I know it's just easier sometimes to see what I'm talking about versus you know, trying to make out exactly what I said. So images will be on the screen, pinky promise. Let's get into it. So in the month of February, I read or have almost finished 15 books. I will have read a total of 6,009 pages, which actually is less than what I read in January by like almost exactly by 1,000 pages. But I did read a couple more books in January, I think. I actually have not read a physical book in a bit. I own a lot of these books in a physical copy, but I have also either acquired them through Kindle Unlimited or audiobook format. So I didn't read technically any physical books that I own, but I did check off some books from my TBR, which we will also talk about in a second. 4 of the books have been Kindle books, and 11 of them actually were audiobooks, which I was kind of surprised by that. I didn't realize that I had acquired so many of the books that I wanted to read this month in audiobook format. Now, I do have a Everend subscription, which they just changed their model, which I really don't love. But now if for $16.99 you get 3 unlocks a month, which is such a bummer because they used to be so much better. Like, it used to be unlimited listens. Obviously, like, some of the newer books weren't always available, but it used to be $11.99 for, you know, I want to say it was like 5 premium listens or something, and then there was just a catalog of books that you could always have available. So really a bummer. I'm kind of trying to decide what I want to do with that. I did also have an Audible subscription. I have since canceled it. I only sign up for Audible when they're doing like the 99-cent like promos, so you can get like 3 months for 99 cents each. To have Everend at like $16.99 and Audible at like $14.99, it's just kind of not worth it. At least with Everend you get 3 unlocks. And then also I do have Amazon Music, so I get 1 free, quote unquote, free unlock a month, which is very helpful. And then I do also use Libby and Hoopla through my library. So there are definitely options. I know audiobooks can be very expensive, but there are definitely options to get them for a little bit of a better deal. So I was able to listen to quite a few books at work. I know some people view audiobooks as like cheating or not really actually reading. You can make that decision for yourself. It's very helpful for me at work. I've talked about it before. I very much enjoy having something going on in my brain other than work. I feel like it just kind of helps me focus a bit more. So take that for what you will. I do think audiobooking is reading. I also like to do this thing where if I have the audiobook and I'm like sitting down at night, I will put the audiobook on and I will read the book at the same time. So a lot of these books I do actually own physical copies of. And even though I might not have noted down that I also read the paperback, I always just decide one, like audiobook, Kindle, or paperback. I decide like one category to put as how I read it. But a lot of these I did also immersive read / listen, which is what they call it when you do an audiobook and a physical reading experience. So anyway, that's that explanation. I know I didn't owe you guys one, but it's always interesting how people feel about audiobooks. So we are going to go through the books that I read, and I will also update you guys on my February TBR. I did pretty good. So the first book that I read this month is Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. You guys will see I did do a little bit of some like Valentine's-y themed type of books, obviously, since it is, or it was, February. And I always like to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? You guys know I'm very like matchy with holidays and seasons. It just makes me happy. So obviously, knowing that it was Valentine's Day this month, I did want to read a fair share of romances. So the first book, like I mentioned, is Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. This is a book that was on my February TBR. I own this in paperback, and then I also used one of my credits on Everend to get the audiobook. I liked this one. I gave it 4 stars. I have heard that this was Ali Hazelwood's like first foray into like super spicy books. I have only read prior to this book, I had only read Bride by her. I know she has a lot of STEM romances. It's really not my cup of tea, and I don't believe that they had been super, like, had a lot of open door type of scenes. So I think a lot of people didn't like this book because it was so spicy from her, but I liked it. I mean, I read Bride, which was a paranormal romance, and there's some stuff in there that happens that is very interesting. So I think reading this one after Bride, I did not think it was very spicy in comparison. So I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Honestly, cannot remember the names of the characters. I'm trying to recall the synopsis, and it's just escaping me. I'm trying to remember how these characters knew each other, and for whatever reason, I'm thinking about the Kindle book that I'm reading right now and how much I want to sit down and read that tonight. So I have that, like, synopsis in my brain. Let's see. Oh, right. Okay, right. Now I remember. So the main character, Rue, is a scientist, and she meets this person, this man, and the next day he shows up and he is part of a company that's trying to buy out the company that she works for. So it's like they didn't know who each other was. They, met the night before, blah, 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 and then it turns into this whole thing. So I did like this one. I really liked the main male character. He is a businessman, but he was also at one point a scientist. So he, he has some intel on some things that are going on in her company, and she just, like, refuses to believe it. So it was very good. I liked this one. See, I feel like this one had a really good balance of the science side of it. I'm just not really into science, so that's why I haven't gone into Ali Hazelwood's STEM romances, but I feel like she kind of balanced it really well in this one. So maybe I do need to pick up her other ones, but I liked this one. 4 stars. I would recommend if you're interested. It is spicy, so keep that in mind if you do not like those type of explicit scenes in your books. Next up is Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. I gave this one 4 stars as well. I also picked up this audiobook through Everend. I have had my eye on this book for quite a while. I really enjoyed another book by Julie Soto, and I always think her covers are so pretty. But this is about 2 musicians who are, like, vying for the same lead musician at an orchestra, and it's kind of like, what's the word? It's like not mistaken identity, but the main male character is kind of not undercover, but he goes by, like, a new name now, so he's, like, famous as well, but people don't really know who he is from when he was younger, and they're competing. So she is a violinist, I believe, and he's a cellist. I might have that backwards, but I think he's the cellist and she is the violinist. It's very interesting. I was in band in school, but it's, like, so interesting, the dynamics of an orchestra. I would be really interested if somebody who read the book has played, like, in a semi-professional orchestra, if the dynamics are what they seem in the book. It kept me really engaged. I really, really liked it. And I think I really enjoyed the male narrator in the audiobook. So if you like music, I would definitely check that one out. The third book that I read this month, also Not Another Love Song, was on my monthly TBR. I'm so annoyed because I can't have 2 spreadsheets out next to each other, so I have to keep going back and forth. But Not Another Love Song was on my February TBR. Another book that was on my TBR for February is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Another Ali Hazelwood book. This was a new release in February. And I had really been looking forward to this book. I remember that it was announced that it would be coming out, I want to say it was late June of 2024. It was right around like when all the Olympic hype started, and I was like, dang, I wish this book was coming out now because I love the Olympics. I always watch the swimming and the diving and all that fun stuff. And I thought it would have been perfect to market it and release it during the actual Olympics, but unfortunately that's not what happened. But the male main character is a professional Olympic swimmer, and the female character is a collegiate diver who wants to make it to the Olympics, and she's coming back from a pretty severe injury. So you're following her like kind of battle that, what I would assume coming back from injury is like an internal battle, and she's kind of struggling, and she kind of is like gets the twisties, I guess, where she thinks that she's doing one particular dive and then she just like changes it in the middle and she's not actually executing the dive that she's supposed to. So you kind of see the mental side of an athlete, and I thought it was really, really interesting. Now, there's one character that I freaking hate. It is the female character's best friend. Oh my god, I could not stand her. But it's a really interesting dynamic. I don't want to give too much of that away just because I can't really recall exactly what is on the back of the book, so I don't want to give any spoilers. But basically, these two main characters meet each other through a mutual friend, and they're kind of like set up and like pushed together. And it was really, really good. I gave it 4.5 stars. I liked it quite a bit. Now, people are saying that this is Ali Hazelwood's like spiciest book. It was definitely spicy, so keep that in mind. But I liked it. It wasn't like, you know how sometimes you can read a spicy book that's literally just sex. Like, that's all. There's like no plot and that's all it's about. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I feel like while this book was quite spicy, I was really engaged with the actual story. And I really did enjoy the actual plot of the book. So if you're into like sports romance, I guess it technically is a college romance, but the main characters seem older. I feel like, I'm going to be 35 this year, so I kind of, oh my god, that's terrifying to say, but I do kind of feel like college romance isn't really my thing so much anymore because I am much, much older than the characters. The characters themselves seemed older, so it was kind of nice to read a college romance where they weren't like super immature 20-year-olds, and I did like that quite a bit. So that was Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Okay, next up is A Curse of Fate by Jaemin Eve. Now, this book popped up on my Instagram. This was not on my TBR. It wasn't even on my radar, but every once in a while, I would say like 3 or 4 times a year, I get into like a paranormal romance mood or like shifter romances. It's not my usual thing, but this book popped up and the quote was like, okay, I'm gonna read that. Like, I like that. Now, was this the best book I've ever read? No, definitely not. It definitely could have used a proofreader. It wasn't perfect, but did it kind of was it just what I needed? Yes, I enjoyed it. I will say this is a why choose romance, so if you're not into that, don't even try it. But honestly, the first book, I don't think was very spicy. I'm trying to think of exactly what happened. I mean, I know what happened, but I don't think she had many run-ins with... Yeah, I don't think anything really happened until book 2, because she was... So basically, the female character, she knows that she has mates somewhere, but she doesn't live within the, what's the word? I don't know. She doesn't live within like a pack. So she's a werewolf, okay? I know it sounds crazy, but she's a werewolf, and she has never lived within a pack except for when she was really small and her mother ended up dying, and it's a whole thing. Not a spoiler, that is on the book. So she basically fears pack life, and she's just always lived by herself. Well, she ends up being found out, and her mates end up being like a very powerful pack. And some crazy things happen at the end. It was a cliffhanger. But I liked it. I mean, I liked it for what it was. Like I said before, it wasn't groundbreaking. It wasn't the best book I've ever read, but the male characters were entertaining, and I did like it enough to read book 2, which we'll talk about in a second. So if you're into paranormal, shifter, romances, why choose? Give it a go. Let me know what you think. After this, I did go back to my TBR, and I started the Briar U series by L. Kennedy. I started with book 1, which was The Chase. I gave this 3 stars. Excuse me. This book follows one of the little sisters from a character in the main series, which is the Off-Campus series, and I read that in January. I need a drink, sorry. Okay, much better. So we meet her in the first series, Off-Campus, and I didn't really love her in that book. She was kind of annoying, and she was kind of annoying in her book as well. I gave this one 3 stars. It was just kind of I don't know. I'm glad I read it because it was on my TBR, and it's also on my 25 books for 2025. Was it groundbreaking? No. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I mean, if you like hockey romance, and if you've read the first series and you want to keep going, I would pick it up, but I wouldn't go into it thinking it was going to be like the best thing you've ever read. After that, I did go on to the second book, A Twist of Luck, which is part of that paranormal romance, shifter romance thing. That was a new release this month. I liked that one. I gave it 3.5 stars, which was a half star more than book 1. I did like that one. It's the second book in a series, so I'm not going to tell you what happens because it does pick up right after the cliffhanger in book 1. But we get a little bit more development on the other members of her mate pack, and I kind of like where it's going. I know the third book comes out at some point over the summer, so I'll definitely be picking it up. I'm invested now because it was another cliffhanger and I want to know what happens. But like I said with the first one, it wasn't groundbreaking. It wasn't the best thing I've ever read, but I was entertained enough to keep going with the series. After that, I went back to Briar U, so I read The Risk, which I gave 3.5 stars, and then I also read The Play, which I gave 3 stars. That's book 2 and book 3 in the series. Again, they were fine. I think I prefer the first series over Briar U. I just don't know. I just don't love it, I guess. I don't love it, but that's okay. I liked it enough. The audiobooks were fine. They were kind of mindless enough to listen to at work. Like, I knew what was happening, but it wasn't anything crazy. Let's see. Those were both on my TBR as well. After that, I read The Love of My Afterlife by Christy Greenwood. I did pick up the audiobook for this one using my Everend subscription, so I used all 3 borrows for February. Or not borrows. What's the unlocks, I guess I should say. This is a romantic comedy kind of. I told you guys about this in my TBR video for February. So basically the main character dies, and when she's in the afterlife, she the afterlife, she meets this man that she thinks is her soulmate. So her like guardian angel is like, I'll make a deal with you. You have, I think it's like 10 days or something. You have 10 days and you can go back to Earth and find this man. And if you get him to kiss you within the 10 days, you can live. And I don't want to say exactly what happens, but she goes back to the real world and it's kind of like a comedy of errors. And the person that she thinks was supposed to be her, you know, the love of her life, maybe isn't. And maybe it's somebody else that she already knew. So I did enjoy this one. It wasn't, honestly, with the reviews that I had seen from other people, I was expecting so much more. Don't get me wrong, like, the book was good. I liked it. I gave it 3.5 stars. I liked it, but I feel like it could have gone so much more. I don't necessarily think it needed to be longer, but I think that the pages that we had could have just been a bit more like refined, if that makes sense. I did like it though. The cover is really cute and the love story was very nice. And then the main character has a neighbor who's like a really good friend of hers. It's an older gentleman, and when she thinks that her time is running out, she like wants to do all these things to make sure that he's taken care of. So I really liked her friendship with her older neighbor, and then I really also liked the romance in this one. So I do recommend it. Honestly, I would probably consider bumping it up a 1/2 star. Now that I'm talking about it, I feel like maybe it could be a 4 star, but then I did read some other books later in the month that were definitely 4 stars. So I don't know. I could be convinced to up the star rating if I wanted to. Okay, that was also on the TBR. Steven actually bought me that book for my birthday, I think. So I was excited to get to that one and check it off the list. It might be on my 25 books for 2025. I cannot recall off the top of my head, and I'm already navigating between too many spreadsheets, so. All right, I want to finish this color before I get too much further into the list. So let's finish this color. We might have a little Steven cameo because he is on his way home from work. And I don't think I'll be finished filming. Oops. All right, almost done. So we will move on to the next book, which was When We Burn by Kristen Proby. Now, this book was also on my TBR, and this is the start of a new series. So I read the Wilds of Montana series by Kristen Proby, which, oh gosh, I'm totally missing the container, which is a series that I liked. And I was really excited because now another family within the series is getting their own spin-off, which is the Blackwells of Montana. So this was book 1 in that series. I was so bummed because one of the things that immediately drew me to the Wilds of Montana was the covers. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so great. I can't wait to see what she comes out with for the Blackwells. And she decided not to do a discrete cover for the Blackwells, which is such a bummer because the images, so the covers are like actual real life people, and nothing against the people, nothing against the models, but I don't like the covers. I'll have it up on the screen here. I much prefer just like alternate covers with flowers or landscape. I'm just not really big on people on my covers. So unfortunately, I didn't pick up a copy of this book, which is such a bummer. She kind of like turned off the comments on her posts when people were asking, you know, will there be a matching cover to the Wild series? She kind of like glossed over it, which is a bummer. I know that it's expensive, I'm sure, to have alternate covers and stuff, but unfortunately I won't be picking up this series if it doesn't come out with something else. I just don't like the cover, which is totally personal preference. But I did really like the book. It is, like I mentioned, When We Burn. It was 4.5 stars for me. It was really, really good. The main female character is I think she's a first grade teacher who is dealing with trauma from her life, which we hear about in the final book of the Wilds of Montana series. So if you're looking to pick this one up, I would definitely recommend reading the Wilds of Montana series first. And then the male main character is a single dad, and he's a firefighter. The little girl in the book was adorable. I loved her so much. Her name was Birdie, and she was so cute. But yeah, I really did like the book. I really hope that we can get an alternate cover at some point so that I can put it on my bookshelves, because unfortunately I will not be doing that unless we get a different cover. With that being said, it is on Kindle Unlimited. That's how I read it. I also had the audiobook, so I'm glad I was still able to read it, but I would also like to support the author and buy an actual physical copy. So fingers crossed we get an alternate cover for that one at some point. Did I say that was on my TBR? Because it was. I did check that one off of my monthly TBR. After that was Between the Pines by Amber Palmer. I read this on Kindle Unlimited. This is a book that I just came across. I don't even know how I found it. I don't think I saw it on Instagram. I wonder if I was just kind of looking at the recommended books on my Kindle, and I saw the cover and I was like, ooh, okay, I like this cover. This looks good. I've never read anything by this author. I really liked the synopsis, so I went for it, and it ended up being a 4-star for me. I really liked this book. The second book in the series actually comes out in a couple of months, which is always nice when you find a series that's, you know, not years in between when the second one comes out. That's always very exciting to me. So in this book, the female main character breaks up with her boyfriend at the start, and she's traveling home, and she stops into a bar and meets this guy, and they hit it off. They spend 5 days together, and then she like freaks out, and she's like, I can't do this. I need to go home. So we pick up with her at home on her family's ranch, and she's being introduced to the new, I think he's a horse trainer, if I'm remembering correctly. She's introduced to the new horse trainer, and of course it is the guy that she had a 5-day fling with, and she is currently in a relationship with someone else. So you kind of go through all of that with them. I loved the main male character. I need to look up this book so I can tell you his name. Between the Pines. Let's see. Of course it's on sale after I bought a copy. Lincoln Carter. Oh, Lincoln. I loved him. Yes. It was a really good book. I liked it quite a bit. The second one comes out in June. So just a few months away. But I liked it, and I'm very excited to see where the series goes. I'm assuming this is going to be a pretty decent sized series, because Josie, the main female character, she has like 4 sisters. So I have a feeling that we're going to see a book for each sister, and I'm not mad about that. Again, that one was not on my TBR. It's just one that I saw, I was interested in, and I picked it up. I always leave myself a little bit of room for that when I choose the books that I want to read, because sometimes something will just pop up on Instagram that piques my interest, or I'll see, you know, something on my Kindle home screen that is interesting, and sometimes I want to pick it up. All right. After that book, I went back to Briar U and I read the last book, which was The Dare. What was this one about? I gave it 3.5 stars. It was my favorite of the series. Oh, right. Okay, I remember what this one was about. It's fake dating, and then obviously they end up falling in love with each other. The main female character goes through some stuff, and I wasn't really expecting it to get as heavy as it did, but I really liked it. I feel like it kind of, like I mentioned with, which book was that? Deep End. It kind of felt like the college kids were just a bit more mature, and I liked that. So I did like that one. It was my favorite in the series. Again, nothing groundbreaking, but I liked it enough to give it a decent reading. All right. Next up, we have Variation by Rebecca Yarros. This is the contemporary romance that she wrote in between Iron Flame and Onyx Storm. This one is on Kindle Unlimited, and if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, you can get the audiobook for free. Like, it's included in your Kindle download. Oh geez, I missed a whole bunch of the drills here. I actually finished this one this morning at work. I obviously listened to the audiobook, and I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I feel like some of Rebecca Yarros' other contemporary romances have been better. But this one was fine. It was fine. It's a second chance romance. The main female character is an elite ballerina, and then the male main character is a Coast Guard rescue swimmer. So I thought that was interesting. And then there's kind of like a little bit of a mystery going on in the background. Her family is very rich and famous, and when they were together when they were teenagers, it was a secret. No one really knew about it. At least we think no one knew about it. And they come back together. They're brought back together by a member of his family, and it's very interesting. I did like it. Like I said before, I don't think it was as good as some of Rebecca Yarros's contemporary romances. If you want one of her romances that will just like crush you, read The Last Letter. Oh my gosh, I sobbed reading that book. But yeah, that was Variation. I'm slowly but surely hoping to get through her backlog of contemporary romance. There is one that I am absolutely have no interest in reading, and that one is In the Likely Event. There's an airplane on the cover, and I'm just, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. So, but yeah, slowly but surely, I think I will try to get through her backlog of romance while I wait for whatever the next book after Onyx Storm will be, because I think we're in for a while before book 4 in that series comes out. So that was Variation. That one was on my monthly TBR. Now, like I mentioned before, I'm currently reading / listening to 2 books. One of them is off of my TBR, which is Attached at Heart. This is book 3 in a series. They're both cardiologists, if I'm not mistaken. I know he is, but I'm trying to remember. Yeah, they are both cardiologists. They went to med school together. They're like best friends. And then she needs a favor so she can collect her inheritance, so it becomes marriage of convenience. And I'm kind of right in the thick of that. So they're obviously in love with each other, but they're not telling each other. So I don't know why, but we will see what happens. Like I said, this is book 3 in the, I think it's the Wildflower series. I loved book 1, which I gave 5 stars. Book 2, I liked, but not as much as book 1. And the character in book 3, the male character, is his brother from book 2. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing. But they are brothers, and then the main female is his best friend, marriage of convenience, all that fun stuff. And then the book that I'm listening to is First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. Stephen gave me this book for Valentine's Day, and I used my free my free audiobook borrow from my Amazon Music account to have the audiobook. So that's what I'm currently listening to. The premise is the male main character is a radio station host, and he gets a phone call from the daughter of Lucy, who's the female main character, and the mother like intercepts the phone, and then the conversation between her and I can't remember his name, the guy on the radio, goes viral. And that's kind of where I'm at. I just started it this morning at work. I didn't listen to it for the full day, but I will probably be able to finish it tomorrow. I'm interested. I don't know that I've ever read like a radio station romance. So I'm excited to see where we go from there. So let me go back to my February TBR. And, oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so Attached at Heart is on my TBR. I will finish that one. The other book on my TBR is Sin With Me by Brooke Montgomery. That is a Kindle book, and that just came out today. I might try to read that. If I don't get to it, I will get to it right at the start of March. That's the final book in the Sugarland Creek series. Unfortunately, she hasn't made the paperbacks available yet on Amazon, so I haven't been able to buy the physical copy, but it is on Kindle Unlimited, so I will just read it on Kindle until I'm able to pick up a physical copy. If you watched my book haul from the beginning of this month, I did end up picking up the entire series of what was out, so they're beautiful covers, and I love them. So I would very much like to pick up this book, which is the final book in the series. This one is ex-boyfriend's twin brother. Interesting. We'll see how that works out. If I'm remembering the back of the book right, these two characters met first, and then she starts dating the twin brother, but like they don't know. So I'm assuming the twins aren't identical, because how would you not know? And then the final book on my TBR was House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. Now, I did not end up reading this book because when I went to borrow the audiobook from my library, only the first part of the audiobook is out right now for the graphic audio, which is how I have listened to the first two books in the series. So I did decide to hold off and wait until part 2 was available. I don't think I would enjoy only listening to half of a book and then waiting a couple of months for the second part. I think the second part of the graphic audio comes out in April, so I will just hold off and I will probably add it to my April TBR as long as I can borrow part 2 from the library. So that's my plan. I was bummed because I was like really in the mood. I didn't read any fantasy. Well, I guess I read those two like shifter romance books, but I've really been in the mood for a good fantasy. If you saw my March TBR video, you'll see I put a couple of fantasies on there because I've really been in the mood, but we'll see. Hopefully I can do House of Flame and Shadow very, very soon. So those are the 15 books that I read. I might try to squeeze in a 16th with Sin With Me. I feel like the other books in that series I've read pretty quickly, so I might be able to squeeze in one more on, Friday evening, curl up on the couch with my Kindle and read a 16th book, but we'll see what happens. I can certainly update you guys on that if that actually happens. We're almost done with our little mini here, so we're gonna stick together. We're gonna stick this out, and hopefully we can finish this one. I think I hear the garage door, so I think Steven might be home. So maybe he can entertain us for for a couple minutes while we finish this up. I really want to buy another set of these minis, not the same design. Some of the ones that came out recently have been really, really cute, but I feel like I need to buy a set and have Steven try to complete one. Let me go see if he's home. Hold on. I have acquired a Steven.
Hello, everybody. I just got home from work.
Yeah, they know.
Do they?
Yeah, because I was like, oh no, I don't have anything to talk about anymore. Maybe Steven will bail us out.
Yeah, sure.
So do you have anything to talk about? Do you want to give a life update or anything?
I don't think they want a life update. You know how when you start a job and you're really loving it, and then like 5 years down the road, bosses change, and now you're really not loving it, but you know what it could potentially be again, and yeah, that's what I'm going through. So,
Steven's struggling at work.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have really good coworkers. Unfortunately, one of my favorite coworkers left, but the job that he got is an awesome job.
Yeah.
I really can't blame him for it. But he's actually the only coworker that I've really befriended. So
yeah,
him and I were kind of the same age. Actually, he was more Laura's age. But,
I'm not that much older than you.
but yeah, he was good. I miss him daily.
Yeah.
It was the true work bromance.
And at least you have, like, you know, someone cool to come home to, right? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Luna.
Oh, Laura. Well, yes, Luna.
Jeez, it took you long enough.
Luna,
I set you up for that.
You should see the look that Luna's giving me right now, because I haven't given her pets.
Well, and I came right home from work and I shut her out because I had to film my video.
Yeah. How is your work life going, Laura?
My work life sucks.
Yep.
But I promised them I would stop being a downer about my job. Because there was one video where I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, okay, never again.
So Laura and I kind of get into arguments sometimes about our work lives. Because, like, both of us are having a hard time at work. But it's, like, for
different reasons.
Way different reasons.
Like, I have an amazing boss.
I do not.
And Steven does not.
And I have 2 of them. She only has 1.
Well, I have more than 1, but...
I have too many.
Yeah. Stop doing that.
Sorry.
What is that?
It's a tool that I accidentally...
You stole a tool?
I did.
Thief.
My pockets. Blue collar tradesmen. Just like, if you want to know what they did at work for like the last month and a half, just pull stuff out of their pockets.
Yep. So before you came in, I was telling them that I think I want to buy another set. No, don't do that, please.
Oh, no, you're not allowed up there.
Another set of these like mini diamond paintings and have you try to do one. Would you do one?
I would do one.
You would?
Anyone like that? Yeah.
Okay, guys, let us know in the comments which set I should buy so that Steven can diamond paint for you guys. And you'll get to unbox it and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
So that means I gotta cut my nails.
Well,
what is that? I gotta get a Manny?
A Manny? You want a Manny? I'll give you a Manny.
No, because then the guys at work would make fun of me.
That you have clean cut nails? Yeah. They'll pick on you for that?
This is like a blue collar trade.
Yeah, I get that, but...
Like, look how dry my knuckles are.
Yeah, I mean, mine are bad too, but...
Yeah, I need some working man hands. They're like starting to split today.
Yeah.
They're very uncomfortable.
Yeah, you should put some lotion on. So let us know in the comments which set we should buy so that Steven can, it'll be Steven's time to shine. Maybe we'll temporarily change the intro of the video to Diamond Paintings by Steven. And it'll be like, boom, boom, boom. Okay. Instead of mine like, doo, doo, doo. It'll be like a big manly entrance. How do you feel about that? Diamond Paintings by Steven.
I'll do the intro myself.
Just be like a screaming, like a metal song. I'm almost done.
Oh, just so you know, Eric, if he ever watches your videos.
Yeah.
He had to get his computer work done.
Oh, he did?
Without it for 4 days.
Oh, no.
That's my gaming buddy.
So what? It wasn't working well last night?
We think his graphics card might be corrupt.
Oh, that sucks.
That's the one thing he's changed. He updated his graphics card.
Oh, man. That sucks.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not too expensive.
It's great when you pay like $1,500 for these things and then they get corrupted.
Yep.
Within like the first, 3 days? But, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
That's why Steven still runs an Xbox.
Yep.
No, actually, I used one of my stimmies for my laptop.
You did?
Yeah.
It was that long ago?
Yeah, it was that long ago.
You haven't had that 4 years.
Yeah.
No, you haven't.
Yeah.
No way.
Well, I held on to my checks.
Oh.
I didn't use them right away.
Oh.
In all honesty, I should have put them into crypto, because then I would have...
Okay, we're not doing that. That's not what we're talking about.
Well, you need stuff to talk about.
Yeah, not that stuff. This is a feel-good diamond painting channel.
Oh, well...
Maybe you shouldn't do it.
If I put it into crypto, I would have been feeling really well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I have something I could say, but I'm not going to say it on camera.
What do you mean?
I know what you could have, turned some of that money around for.
What did you just get done telling me?
What?
That we have to do feel-good stuff, right?
That's
a
feel-good thing.
I'm gonna get called out now for this.
Did you see that video that I sent you? And it was like this ring.
Yeah, what was that?
It was a diamond.
That was an ugly diamond.
Yes, it was, but it was big.
Very ugly.
It was a ring, guys, that it literally stretched. It was like
It covered the whole ring finger.
some crazy diamond or something that they put on like a band, and it was this big. You
Stupidest
couldn't even see.
design.
How do you even bend your finger? Oh my gosh.
I didn't want to get punched with that's for sure.
See, that's why I need it.
That's why Laura needs a very small.
If you're new here, Steven and I have been together for 8 years in May. 8 years.
She'll play punch me. And obviously.
Don't say that.
I'm 6'1", 250 pounds, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna play fight with you. And she's like, come on, I don't hit that hard, and then she.
And then I take him down at the knees.
Punches me. Oh my god. She can throw some haymakers.
Yep.
She's like, come on, I'm just little.
I'm just a baby. Jeez.
Oh, I have a question for the group.
Okay.
So mom ended up going to a retirement party,
Oh, nice.
but she bought 8 things of soda
Okay.
in true mom fashion.
Yeah.
But they already had soda
Okay.
because my mom can't go anywhere without.
Yeah,
soda.
she can't. Even if they come here for a dinner that we're providing, she still brings
Yeah.
an appetizer and dessert.
And then she's like, "Why aren't you eating this?" And it's like, "Mom, we told you." But that's all right.
Yeah.
Um,
It's kind of the way of that
yeah.
generation.
So right now she dropped off some brisk. Did I finish? Yeah, I did finish.
She went to a retirement party.
Yeah, but they
already had
soda.
drinks, yeah.
Yeah. So she brought them home, and she's like, "Wow, me and your father aren't going to drink all this because they're not really soda drinkers. I try not to be anyway, but I'm a sucker for the sodas."
Yeah.
So what do we have now? We got a brisk iced tea, which isn't really soda, but still sugar.
And it's not raspberry.
And it's not raspberry, it's just a regular brisk. A Diet Coke, a regular Coke, and a Coke Cherry. Out of those 4, which would you guys choose?
Yeah.
Which one
Okay,
would you
so what is it? A brisk lemon tea.
Yep.
Diet Coke.
Yep.
Cherry Coke.
Yep.
And
Regular Coke.
regular Coke. So out of those 4 options, what is your drink of choice? What's yours? The iced tea.
No, actually, probably Coke Cherry.
Yeah. Luna, this is why you're not allowed in here. It's on her foot. Jesus. Well, I finished my thing. Do you like it? It's the February Mini Dazzle. I know she is. That's why I told you she's not allowed in here.
You are a menace. I almost tripped over her today.
Really?
She would not move. I was trying to get out this morning, out of the bedroom door.
Yeah.
And Laura isn't allowed in the bedroom when we're not home.
Laura isn't allowed?
Luna, sorry.
I'm not allowed in the bedroom when I'm not home?
Well, the door's still closed.
Luna is not allowed in the bedroom.
Too many L's. I just said hi to my neighbor Lori. Then I see Laura, and then it's Luna.
I'm not Laura. You don't call me Laura, though. I don't
Sometimes Laura.
Yeah, but not like...
Laura.
It's like when your parents are like your first and middle name, like they're pissed at you. When you're like, Laura, I'm like, oh God. Can I just be like, babe or baby?
No stuff off of this.
Okay, we're getting off track.
Okay.
Did you want to finish your story? Luna wouldn't leave you alone this morning.
Yes. So I'm trying to get out of the bedroom door, and like she's standing in the door frame, and I'm trying to get over. I'm like trying to shoo her with my foot, and she is not moving. She is like standing her ground. I was like, come on, and literally to the point where like I trip a little bit.
Oh no!
I'm like, come on.
You didn't yell at her, did you?
No.
Okay. It's so funny because she didn't want anything to do with me this morning. Like, usually when I get ready for work, like, I do my makeup and stuff in the bathroom. So she'll come into the bathroom and sit on the sink and, like, watch me. It's so cute. She would not leave the couch this morning.
That's how she is with me usually.
Like, I had to go out. I fed her. I opened the sliding door blinds. Like, I did all the usual things that, like, prompt her to come out. And she would not budge. So I had to go out. And I was like, are you okay? Stand up so I can make sure your legs work. I'm so over the top. But I love my cat. So anyway, do you like my February Mini Dazzle?
I like it. I hope we get snow like that.
Some more snow?
Yeah.
I was kind of wishing, I said at the beginning of the video that I wished it was more Valentine's-y.
Okay. All right.
But I still like it. I think it's cute.
Yeah.
Out of January and February, which one's your favorite?
January.
Yeah, me too. I love the January one. So there we go, January and February. I hope that you guys enjoyed hearing the books that I read in February and our little Steven update, because it's been a while since he's been on the channel.
Yeah.
And make sure you leave a comment. Let us know which mini set we should get so we can get Steven unboxing and diamond painting, because that would be a lot of fun. He's trying to be all manly next to me. He's got his arms crossed with his muscles out. Stop. All right, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.
Toodles.
Bye. Toodaloo. Should that be my new exit? Toodaloo.
Yeah.